Shut up. You're lying. So guys, here we are. Looks like this one's going to be a little bit better because I think our Wi-Fi actually supports this. This is what the topic's about right here.
Once people in Africa find out they can move to Europe without consequence, millions will begin to do so. So the next human wave will come from the African continent. Meantime, Europe has no solution. And President Obama will not even acknowledge his drastic foreign policy mistakes. You want a worldwide mess? You have one. Finally, hundreds of thousands of migrants will eventually find their way to North America. It's just a matter of time. So here's the bottom line. If the USA and Western Europe continue to blunder in the face of the jihad and tolerate brutal dictators like the Iranian mullahs, the world will devolve into continual conflict and humanitarian disaster. There's no question about it. And that's the memo.
All right. Well, that was an old news clip, as you can tell, from 2015, 2014. But it seems like it's actually true. It seems like the predictions that he said about the Africans and the open lax borders in America have opened it to a flood of not just all immigrants, but specifically Muslims, especially in Europe. A friend of mine was from Ireland, and he went back to Ireland. Went back to Ireland because he wanted some of his kids who were raised in America to see like the Irish culture. He was back there for 6 months, and now he's coming back to the States because he said there's no culture left in Ireland, that it's been overrun with Muslims, and now it's basically fallen to shit. And I thought some of these things were exaggerated because where I live in San Diego, it's been kind of sheltered. I mean, well, not sheltered, but there's of course there's Muslims everywhere, right? But it's been it's not nearly as bad as say as it is in the Northwest, which still isn't even as bad as some of the other places in America, but noticeably different. Like today, I was doing some shopping in this neighborhood at the hotel where the hotel's around, and kind of like looked around. I didn't quite get it at first when I looked around. I'm like, what the fuck? Like everybody is fucking Muslim with me, practically. I mean, we're talking like, I don't know, maybe 8 out of 10 people are Muslim, right? Obviously Muslims. I'm just like, well, when did I move to like little Muslim? It's like, or little whatever, Saudi Arabia or whatever it is, right? Now, and I'm not saying like all Muslims are bad. That's not what I'm saying, because there are obviously different types of Muslims, right? It depends on where they're from, most likely. There are your pacifist ones, well, let me rephrase that. I don't think any of them are pacifists, but there are peaceful ones, in quotation, and then there are the ones that are more hateful, or not even hateful, but maybe intolerant towards people that are not Muslim. And again, this isn't a racial thing, and it's not a hate thing either. It's kind of like, what's this guy saying? Kind of xenophobe, bro. No, they're not, William. They're not trying to find a better life, man. Some of them are. But here's the thing. You come out here, at least where I'm looking in this neighborhood, what you see a lot of Muslim people that come here. You see there's some, like I was just trying to state, as you said, that there are some groups of people that are just trying to find a better life, but there's a big group of people that are not trying just to find a better life. They escaped from their so-called oppressive countries to come here and do their best to turn it into their oppressive country over here. I mean, they want to bring their things that they supposedly ran from and are repressed from and drop them over here and then do the exact same thing over. So the exact same culture, exact same environment, and they move into neighborhoods and they populate and they buy up houses, lands, businesses. Before you know, within a couple decades, you have several blocks that are just specifically Muslim. Now, is that a bad thing? It's a bad thing if you do not want this to be Muslim land. If you don't mind, that's fine. But when someone says Christianity, okay, I looked at it in the wrong light. Christians is the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. I mean, Christianity moved throughout Europe, right? Conquered, devastated to control and convert all the way through the United States, right? Including the Native Americans, right? And that's what the Muslims, I think, are trying to do. Now, when I say the Muslims, I don't mean every single one, but I think there is a specific goal to turn cultures and civilizations that are non-Muslim into Muslim, or die. When I say die, I mean maybe not metaphorically. I mean, Well, in some instances, literally, but at least on a spiritual level, on a sociological level, to die. And that's kind of what religion does. And the Muslims are no exception. I mean, I'm not saying that they're any worse than Christians were. I mean, how many people how many Africans did we convert to Christianity, right? How many Nigerians, Kenyans, Zimbabweans, whatever? How many did we go over there and convert to Christianity? Under what? Under what? The guise of helping free you, to give you food. Ethiopia, starting little babies in Africa, are now Christians, right? Those are the people that email me and say, how do I sell my soul to the devil to become rich and famous? You know why? Because their promise of conversion to Christianity, they would have a better life, failed. Because that God does not exist and did not appear and supply what they wanted. So what? Now they're like, oh, well, then maybe we're worshiping the wrong one. We'll flip-flop from Jesus over to Satan. So how do I sell my soul to the devil? How do I become rich and famous and powerful like Jay-Z or Tupac or whatever the fuck they listen to over there? Islamists, those who worship and plunder Islamists. Yes, whoever said that. Bateman NZ, yes. I often confuse the two. I know them in my head, but I often don't use the right terminology when I'm describing the people. Islamists, yes. The Islamists, yes. Muslims, it's kind of a blanket term. Like Christians, you could be talking about. Yeah, I keep saying like Christians when I might be referring to Catholics, I might be referring to Mormons. Not that they're Christians, but you know what I'm saying. Protestants, Baptists, Catholics, under that umbrella. The Islamists, if we want to call them that, that's a much better term. Yeah, it's just like I was out there. I was going into a store, and I looked. This is today, and I looked. There's group of dudes over here, about 4 or 5 over there across the street, down the little strip plaza. There's a whole shitload of them, like I don't know, 10, 20 of them. I don't know if there's like a convention or a prayer meeting, whatever it is. Right, there's a lot of them hanging out, and I'm just like, going to the store. I heard somebody across the street go, "So this isn't like you better get out of here. Or you don't belong here," or something to that effect. I looked around because I'm thinking like, there ain't no way you're talking to me. Sure as shit, I'm the only fucking white guy there. And I was like, and I don't think it's necessarily being white. I mean, maybe he would have said anybody, but it's obviously not Muslim. I don't think I look Muslim in this fucking hat, right? But I'm just like, that's kind of weird. Like, I don't expect that. I mean, maybe it's just because of what do they call it, racial privilege. But it's like you don't often hear that, unless you're like in the fucking hood trying to buy crack at 4 a.m. Then you might hear it. But yeah, it's just weird. It's what are you gonna do? I mean, I'm all for preserving any culture. In this case, in Europe, right? I'm all for Europeans preserving their cultures, right? Whether it's Ireland, whether it's Germany, whether it's Belgium, whether it's the French, I mean, whatever it is. I mean, I'm for them preserving their culture. And if we're going to be so PC and liberal and open our gates to immigrants and alleged, what do they call it, political refugees, that the political refugees, why don't they come over here and leave the bullshit behind? Why do they bring the things that they're running from and plant them over here and say they're political refugees, and then take up our welfare system, get food stamps, get free medical care, and populate, and then we have to take care of these kids? I mean, that's bullshit. Some European countries don't go with that. Some European countries are like, no, you weren't born here, you're not a citizen. If you want to be a citizen, you have to go through these steps. That's what you have to do. And it's like, it makes no sense when you see the majority of people who are of Muslim or Islamic faith or culture coming here and then setting up camp with their Islamic and Muslim faith and culture, just derooting and replanting here. Now, if you really want to get away from that shit, you would come over here and leave the bullshit behind, but they don't. So that's why I kind of am like, let me read this. Let me read up, catch up here. The Holy Quran and the Bible were written by people who wish to control and manipulate the universe. Yeah, no, that's true. I agree totally. Hello, El Satan. Good to see you again, Nick. Jerry only? Jerry only. What does that have to do with what I'm talking about? But I like him. I like him a lot. Absolutely. Oh, Jerry only. Oh man, I misread that. I thought you were talking about the guy from the Misfits. Sorry, my bad. I don't even know who Jerry only is. If anybody's a Misfits fan, you'll see the easy error in that if you just glance at it. Oh, okay, it is from the Misfits. Okay, good. I'm so caught up in that. Oh, man, awesome. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about him. I mean, I'm a fan. Him being from the Misfits, sure, yeah. Okay, I thought I misread that. I thought, whatever. I'm kind of drunk. Whatever. It's called the Drunken Monologues, of course. But yeah, it's yeah, he's cool. But yeah, well, and that's the thing, you know. I mean, if they're actually really political refugees, right? If they're really trying to escape repression and um, you know, basically slavery, political, religious slavery, and seeking asylum, that's one thing. But how many people who are coming here are actually trying to do that? Or how many people are just jumping on the gravy train to try to get here, then to set up their same bullshit in our backyard and then take advantage of our resources simply because they don't have the resources, right? So they don't have the resources, so they come and do it over here. And at what point is not just America, but any country going to be like, no, like, fuck off. Like, you know, sorry about your luck. You're going to come over here, you had a chance, and you set up fucking, you know, little Islam over here. Fuck that. You know, that's you're supposed to be coming over here to get away from the oppression, not to bring it with you and to start repressing others. That's basically what a lot of them are doing. That may sound love from Ireland, by the way. Okay, Bateman, do you tell me then? Because my friend who recently, I think you may have been here from the beginning, but I'll say it again. Recently, went to Ireland with his kids that were born in America to show his kids Irish culture. And when he said when he got there for the first time in like 8 years, he's like, "There's no culture left. It's like it's gone. It's like the Muslims have overrun it. It's like almost like it's so fucking overrun with PC liberal shit that it's like to be Irish now or to glorify in some sort of ethnicity or not ethnicity, but you know what I'm saying, some sort of cultural identity like Irish is kind of like being like not PC. It's like you're wrong. Black Lives Matter. You know, and fuck that. That's my opinion. I mean, if I was president over there, if I was president anywhere, I'd be like, fuck that. It's me. I mean, you know what? It's not our problem. That clip though that I played at the beginning, it is kind of important to note that if we go over and decimate what we call, you know, terrorist, right? Quotations, terrorist, right? Whether it's Osama bin Laden, whether it's Gaddafi, whoever it is, right? Terrorists. If we go over there and decimate these governments and culture, or governments and political dictators, allegedly dictators, again, quotations, if we do that and then we just bail out like we do oftentimes, if we don't sit there and stay there and help, you know, set up a new political government and help protect it and help feed the people, we're basically just going there and destroying one dictator so that another dictator can move in as soon as we leave. And that's what's fucked. And then a lot of people will leave that country, right? Because now they're even fearful. At least the one dictator they kind of knew about, right? And either on his good side or his bad side. If you're still alive, you're probably on his good side. Now he's gone. Now the new dictator comes in, and now you're fucked, right? Now you got to run again. So in some reasons, it's our fault. I mean, in a sense, I mean, there's some examples, but the African thing is ridiculous. I mean, it is not even. See, it's not like this in San Diego. This is what's weird. And I'm only really noticing this for the first time. Like, I mean, here in the Northwest, because if you call Uber, there's about an 8 out of 10 chance it's going to be an Islam guy or a Muslim guy. And the other day, I got an Uber. I called Uber and picked this up, me and my buddy at a bar. And he basically said, we were going to get in the car. I said, wait a minute. He goes, we're not scheduled for 3 minutes. I looked, I was like, okay. So yeah, we were a little early, but not really, because we just like changed it and fucked us kind of like to make us wait. Anyway, he did it, and then he got out, and it's raining, and he got out, threw his rug down, you know, and it is, you know, Allah thing, right? And it's like, you know what? I kind of respect that, but at the same time, it's like you're fucking work, you know. It's like I'm paying you to pick my ass up, not, you know. I understand you got to pray, but what the fuck? Like, take a break for half an hour, take care of your shit. But allegedly, me standing in the rain and paying you to get my ass home, right, is not a big deal because you have to pray to your God right then and there. But I'm paying you. You can take a break from Uber, pray to your God if you want. So it's, I mean, you know, it's. I'm not even going to go into if any of you guys have ever been around a bunch of Islams, if you want to call them that, whatever. I mean, there's some Muslims and Islam. From certain Muslims from the Islamic nation from a certain country are very rude, very rude. I mean, not even just rude, but probably violent. I mean, I've seen some people get ganged up on a little bit, but I was wondering what would happen. I want to pull this prank, but I'm going to need a couple people to help me. Meaning that I'm going to need like at least one other person to do it with me, and at least about 4 other people to surround us and be our bodyguards to do this to be safe. Unless we're going to carry guns, but even then, I wouldn't want to do that. Basically, what do you guys think would happen if myself, another guy, dressed as the Muslim women do, with their faces covered and the long sheets and shit? What happened if myself and another guy did that, just like Muslim women, wrapped up in blankets, as they do, and just walked around in like known Muslim neighborhoods? What do you think would happen? You think we'd live? You think they'd come after us? I think they would. I think that we get rocks thrown at us. I think, at least, if not bricks or guns, but I think that'd be funny. And to film it too, actually. You know what? Actually, be safer doing it in public. To go to a Walmart. There's a Walmart down here that's like 50% Islam people, Muslims, whatever. Walk through that Walmart, 2 of us dressed like women, Muslim women, with about 4 bodyguards, right? They can also be dressed like women too, actually, but definitely 4 other dudes to protect us, and see what happens. I think that would be hilarious. To see how we think the men would get. Who would be pissed off, the men or the women? Probably the men, right? It's almost implying that they're gay, which is a major sin, I think. Yeah, it's definitely gonna need some bodyguards, man. I got some big bodyguards. I have to call my friend Danny Boss from New York. Yep, biggest Satanist guy I know is 6'8", about, I don't even know, at least 3 to 350. 6'8" though. There's a picture of me with him. I'm like up to here on him. He's gonna be one of them. I guess he can't be a Muslim woman, but the funny thing is he looks like he could be part Arab, a little bit, like half maybe. He's got kind of dark hair, dark eyes. So he might actually pull off the Muslim thing pretty good. Yeah, if we dress him up around. So outside of that obnoxious motorcycle noise, does this streaming work okay? Because the last one was terrible because the Wi-Fi was so bad, it was all pixelated. Looks okay on my side, but my side doesn't really count. Yeah, CB, definitely might get my ass kicked, man. That's why I'm looking to and it's gonna be hard to fight like dressed like a Muslim woman. I mean, you're just already losing right there, right? I mean, I don't think you can even move your arms and legs fast enough to defend yourself, which I think is the point of wrapping women in blankets over there, because you can just smack them around like they're like bowling pins, like boom, and they just go. Praise Allah. Yep. Word. Cool, man. So I mean, I really don't understand. Like, see, people like what's funny is people like hate on Trump like about the wall thing, and now he's like, you're a bigot. But Trump can do anything, and there's going to be a large group of people saying you're wrong. If you say anything, you can't ride the fence forever, right? You can't ride the fence. You're going to have to take one side or the other. Immigration, no immigration. You know what I'm saying? So if he's for the wall, which by the way, a lot of European countries have already implemented what their version of the wall is, right? A lot of countries do this. Now all of a sudden he's an asshole. It's like he's for, slowing the speed of illegal immigrants, not keeping them out completely, just making them go through legal means, right? But no, people make it. The left media makes it look like he's like building this fucking giant tower wall with guards with flamethrowers on top, with a moat around it, with alligators and fucking landmines. That's not what he's doing. I've actually seen part of the wall. It's not that intimidating. I'm sure that you can dig under that one too, but but yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why we don't do it. I mean, don't you think that instead of letting immigrants over here, but I guess they have nowhere to go, is that it? So why are they going to leech off of us? Like, we don't have any money. I think that's been proven with this new stimulus package that they're saying this unemployment packages will only support. This is at the FEMA relief, right? Will only support this stimulus package, which has already been cut in half for the unemployment stimulus bonus, cut in half. Still only supported for like 3 or 4 weeks of predicting. So it's like, wait, where's all this money come from for us to, you know what? That's where the money was. That's where it's going. FEMA. federal emergency, whatever, blah, taking care of other people that don't actually belong here. That's fucked. But it is what it is. What's this guy? Devin, I don't like how so many of Trump supporters behave like cultists with their Trump worship. Really? That's weird, man, because I don't see anybody worshiping Trump, but I see people suffering from Trump deranged syndrome left and right. I don't imagine. I mean, maybe once in a while I see like some fringe Trump supporter that's like just like all over the top. But for every one of that person, there's 1,000 that have suffered from Trump deranged syndrome. That the simple mention of his word, you'll be like fucking tossed out of their lives. They will hate you. They will say you're not their friend anymore, even though you've been friends with them for 20 years. They will not talk to you anymore. That to me, and I see for every one of those weird Trump people, I see 1,000 of those fucking Trump deranged syndrome people. So I don't know, man. I don't see the problem being with this cult Trump worshippers. I see it just the opposite. I see the left liberal people that are just like so like deranged, like it's an erotic sickness in their head. It's mere. I have so many friends because I don't blindly hate Trump like they do. I've lost people that I've been friends with for many, many years. People that thought I was the coolest motherfucker in the world because they're like, fuck Trump, I hate Trump. And because I stood up and said, why? Can you tell me why? They're like, bah, because they suffer from Trump deranged syndrome. They're neurotic. It's like, because he said something on Twitter that upset me. Bah. I mean, whatever it is, right? I mean, it's like, okay, well, a lot of presidents have said that, okay, including the one before him. It's like, what is it? It's like, it's Trump deranged syndrome.
I don't understand.
Oh, Google, I'm not talking to you. Shut up. Okay. See, even Google is like, what are you talking about? Trump deranged syndrome. It's like, I don't understand. That was classic. You hear that coming out of my pocket? That's fucking hilarious. Google's a Trump deranged supporter, apparently. All right, but yeah, enough of Trump. Who cares? I mean, Trump, we're all fucking puppets, man. I mean, politics is a game. It's puppeteering. Even Trump is a puppet. Everybody is the political arena is a joke. It really is, which is why I'm not political. I don't consider myself either Republican or Democrat. At best, I'm an independent libertarian, but not a liberal like the left liberal, an original libertarian. At best, and even then, I'm kind of loosely support that idea. So it's like, I mean, whoever's president is just a puppet for the people who really control the presidency and the politics and America and probably the world. Those people, whoever it is, Trump, Obama, whatever, whoever's going to be next, they're puppets and they march. And we think they're like, look over here, look, we're going to make this guy dance and he's going to fucking say stupid shit on Twitter while we're doing this. And here, look, throw this COVID-19 virus out. Okay, look at this. Oh, look, we're going to do this shit and all this distraction while the real shit's going on over here, right? Dance over here, shit's going on over here. That's it. It could be Trump. It could be whoever. Doesn't matter. But so I don't really care about politics. I just like to push buttons, and I don't like people who hate everything blindly and neurotically, like the Trump deranged syndrome people. I don't care if you dislike Trump. I don't like everything he does either, but I don't hate him, and I'm not going to blow my head and like shit on all my friends, my family. It's like fucking lose my mind and cry and like crash my car and shit. But boom. It is now 1:00. I am going to head out because, I am out of alcohol and I still have a little bit of time to go get some. Thanks for tuning in, though. And fuck, you guys have any topics before I go? Like, what do you guys want to talk about next, man? If it's about politics and shit, I'm not really political, man. This is like, I don't even really think the Muslim thing is that political, but I make it a point to actually ignore the news. I try to ignore it. Obviously, I can't. But I try to not watch things that are obviously biased on the media. But is there any other topics? What is even going on? The whole fucking stimulus bonus shit, that's all played out. Nobody knows anyway. So what else is going on? Anything going on in the world of Satanism? I don't think so. There hasn't really been for a few years since the Satanic Temple kind of dominated that. Made everybody think Satanists are leftist, liberal, LGBT political activists. But that's okay. So waiting for the next big thing to come along, which is why we need another fucking serial killer like Richard Ramirez or Son of Sam, Dave Berkowitz. because neither one of them were Satanists, but the fact that they like kind of tried to play that they were was great, because then everybody got fearful of Satanists. And I was like, oh, fuck, these guys are fucking dangerous. Look at them. Right. Granted, it did spark rumors of baby sacrifices and animal sacrifices and whatever, but at least people didn't think we were goddamn liberal LGBT political activists. That's all I care about. Come on, let's bring back Rich Ramirez. Michael Aquino died yes, he did. I think it was a few months ago, man. But I think it was a few months ago. He died in I think it was actually like September of 1929. I could Google it, but you're right. Fucking Dr. Aquino died. That's interesting. It's not. I mean, I feel sorry for him. I mean, he's a good guy. I talked to him a few times on Facebook. Not Facebook. 600 Club, which is now gone too, by the way. 600 Club, for what you guys don't know, was there's the first satanic network, and started like in the late 90s. That's gone now too. As far as I know, there's only two left. There's my network, Satanic International Network, and there's Letters to the Devil, that doesn't really count because they're like a private Church of Satan type form that doesn't have any activity anyway. But yeah, Aquino, I talked to him on the 600 Club about a year ago. I don't know the guy, but it sucks. Sucks for him. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Nor. It's like, yeah, I mean, he's a pioneer. He's a godfather in the world of occultism in this, in the last 50 years. Hopefully he'll be placed along, the not relics, but the godfathers of occultism in the 1900s, as far as like LaVey and Crowley, Aquino. Yep. As far as talk about more psychic trips, man, psych trips. Last night, man, I got this DMT stuff, man. It's I got some vape card. I'd show you, but I think I'd get in trouble for that. I got these vape cartridges to oil, DMT mixed with the vape oil. So you just vape it, right? And never tried this before. Usually I just do the other methods, which are usually more intense. They're like more like freebasing. It's like just straight DMT. Whereas this DMT is mixed with an oil, which has a different effect. I mean, you still get really high, but it's cool, like where it's like you can keep doing it, wait 5 minutes, keep doing it, because like a vape, right? And man, we were high for hours. This whole room, this is exactly what's on that bed. These blankets, right? I had my phone out, and it had I was playing these weird trippy DMT videos of the fractals and stuff like that, and it was it looked like this whole blanket, including myself and my girl, myself, were laying on the bed, and everything looked like whatever was going on that phone projected itself out onto the bed sheets and onto your body and stuff. It was those octopuses that change camouflage and shit, or the squid or whatever they're, right? When a shark comes along, all of a sudden they blend in. It's like that, but it was with the phone. It was whatever the phone was doing. Everything around us did it, and it was pretty cool. It was really cool. A lot of people like to close their eyes when they trip on DMT. I do sometimes, but it's really cool if you get really high and keep your eyes open, because everything, this whole wall, everything you see around me became really square, like cartoonish, like Super Mario Brothers. It didn't even look real anymore. It didn't even look like it was room. And that shit started happening. It was fun. Definitely fun. DMT is now my new favorite psychedelic, although I have had a scary trip on DMT when I was doing it the hard way. Which is the way most people do it. Well, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of people do it. The hard way is just straight vaping, not vaping like a mixed with oil, but wax, where it's like a coil that heats up, and you just put the DMT on it, and it vaporizes just the DMT with no mixture. So it's it's basically freebasing. It's an old terminology for it. That way, that way's got kind of scary, because that hits you so hard and so fast, where when you jump into that land that fast, you don't always land exactly where you want to be. When you land, it kind of drops you somewhere, and you don't always know. You don't even remember what you did sometimes. And when you look around and everything's different, you don't know where you are, even though you're in your hotel room, but the hotel room looks completely different, because it does. It looks like cartoon shit. It's a disassociation process, dissociative psychedelic, where you will dissociate yourself. Poof, and it's basically like being beamed up by Star Trek, being dropped in a virtual reality over here, and you're just like, what? And then you don't even remember what you did. That's been scary. That happened to me once, man. That was some scary shit. Well, it's happened to me several times. But one time in particular, when I did that, I had this ominous feeling of death. And in my mind, well, not in my mind, I was like viewing myself. It's hard to explain, but I basically fell down and spit out all my teeth, and I was fucking puking blood, and all my teeth came out. And this noise came in the background. It was like those old Atari noises, like when your character died. Like, you know, like it's like that sounded and shit. I was like actually dying. Fucking scary. I'm gonna take that. I wish like Jung and Freud were here. Wilhelm Steckel, Wilhelm Reich, to like who could have experimented with this shit, because it's very largely manifestations from the subconscious. And a psychoanalytic professional could easily see that would be like what they call the ego death, when you fucking trip that hard so fast that your self perception, your ego, you know, is just like gone. Like it just fucking, and it shrivels, and as it's dying, it's like it's a panic attack. And then scary. But I've had several breakthroughs, man. Yeah, those were breakthroughs too. Those are just scary breakthroughs. But I mean, breakthroughs are kind of a weird terminology, because I mean, a breakthrough can be, yeah, I've like what I was describing was a breakthrough. It just was a scary one. Now, if you're talking about a breakthrough in the sense where a lot of people describe it like in like meeting aliens and shit like that, and you know, understanding the mysteries of the universe, no. I have seen some weird shit that I could easily understand when people might say as aliens, but I don't think so. I think it's your subconscious attaching things, because aliens are very popular in our culture. Therefore, we often see things that are images of archetypes on a Jungian principle, the subject of aliens. Jungian didn't describe them as aliens back then because the aliens didn't really exist back then, right? They weren't really popular or talked about, at least in the public consciousness. Now they are every day, every TV show, every movie. Aliens, this alien. So it's like, so we see aliens. Same with the woman by the lake, and the machine elves. All that shit are just manifestations of our subconscious based on popular media and exposure that we have in this culture. People that do DMT that haven't been exposed to these things, more primitive people, don't see aliens. They see spirits in the form of animals, right? Because that's what's around them is fucking animals, like the Native Americans and shit. They didn't see aliens. They saw wolves and coyotes and deers and shit. But I don't know. You should try DMT, man. It's fucking great. It's great, and it's easy to make. Well, it's fairly easy to make. I mean, I see high school kids making it. You can order the ingredients online. Look on Reddit. You'll find the way to make DMT. It has to do with mimosa bark. That's the one thing you have to order, but it's legal, and I think every day in a certain form because it's a dye, a fabric dye, and it's also used for something else. Anyway, it's a mimosa bark, lye, and something else. And you somehow do it. I don't know the exact thing, but you somehow mix those things together, let them soak for a while, sift them, and what's left is a crystalline powder, crystalline things that is DMT. You can keep doing that, make it refined, but it's an easy process. I heard you can take the raw ingredients and within a matter of 3 to 4 days and have actual usable DMT. I think everybody should try it. All right, guys, I'm gonna roll out before I miss my last call, because then I will be very mad. But thanks for showing up, guys. I'll see you around. I'm glad to know this Wi-Fi works. So see you around.